You're looking for a scanner that just works, that won't eat up your budget with hidden costs, and that you can actually leave on your desk without worrying about constant jams or blurry files. The hesitation most people feel when they start researching office scanners isn't about the specs, it's about the everyday hassle. Will it keep up with the paperwork flow? Will it waste my time with endless error messages? And most importantly, will it give me solid image quality without forcing me to become a tech wizard? Those are the real questions that decide whether a piece of equipment earns its spot in a small office or gets returned to the shelf. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Fujitsu Fi 7260 is marketed as a professional desktop color duplex scanner, but it's really aimed at light to moderate workloads you'd see in a front office or a home-based business. It's not a high-volume production line beast, and that's exactly where it shines. If you're the kind of user who scans invoices, contracts, or occasional color brochures a few dozen pages a day, the Fi 7260 gives you a reliable, low-maintenance solution that feels more like a plug-and-play accessory than a piece of industrial equipment. Let's talk about the paper handling first, because that's where many scanners stumble. Fujitsu's superior paper handling technologies claim translates into a surprisingly smooth feed path. In practice, the 50-sheet feeder and flatbed work together without the frequent paper jams you hear about with cheaper models. The feeder's gentle rollers actually reduce the wear on the paper, which means you won't be constantly clearing stuck sheets or re-scanning because a sheet got stuck midway. For a small office that wants to keep labor costs down, that reliability can be worth more than a few dollars saved on the unit price. Image quality is another practical factor. The Fi 7260 delivers crisp, true color scans that meet the expectations of most business documents. You won't notice banding or color shifts when you scan a client's logo or a colored diagram. That matters if you need to archive documents in a way that future readers can trust, especially when you're feeding those files into a document management system, DMS. The built-in PaperStream ClickScan software makes that process straightforward. A single button press on the scanner triggers a scan, and the software automatically names, crops, and saves the file according to the profile you set up. It's not a fancy AI-driven cleanup tool, but it handles the day-to-day tasks without requiring you to open a separate application each time. Integration is often a blind spot in reviews, yet it can be a deal-breaker for businesses that already run an ECM, Enterprise Content Management, solution. The Fi 7260 speaks TWAIN, ISIS, and even Kofax VRS, which means it slots into most existing workflows without a custom driver hunt. If your office already uses SharePoint, Laserfiche, or any other DMS, you can map the scanner to a network folder and let the software do the rest. That reduces the IT overhead that often comes with new hardware. Now, who should actually consider buying this scanner? If you run a front desk reception, a small accounting firm, or a freelance graphic studio that occasionally needs to digitize color proofs, the Fi 7260 hits a sweet spot. Its footprint is modest enough to fit on a crowded desk, and the duplex capability cuts the scanning time in half for double-sided documents useful for contracts or tax forms where you want both sides captured in a single pass. Also, if you already have a Windows-based environment and rely on standard scanning protocols, you'll appreciate the seamless driver experience. Who should skip it? If you're handling high-volume batches, think hundreds of pages per hour, large-format engineering drawings, or a mailroom that processes thousands of envelopes daily, this unit will feel underpowered. The 50-sheet feeder, while generous for a small office, will become a bottleneck, and the scan speed, though decent for its class, won't match the throughput of a dedicated high-speed production scanner. Likewise, if your workflow is heavily Mac-centric or relies on Linux-only drivers, you might run into compatibility quirks, because Fujitsu's software suite is primarily Windows-focused. There are a couple of practical trade-offs you'll notice after the box is opened. First, the scanner's speed is respectable but not lightning fast. You'll see about 25 pages per minute in color duplex mode. That's fine for occasional bursts but could add up if you're scanning a stack of 200 pages. Second, the bundled PaperStream ClickScan software is functional, but it lacks some of the advanced OCR and batch processing features you'd find in premium third-party packages. If you need searchable PDFs or sophisticated indexing, you'll likely have to pair the scanner with an additional software license, which adds to the total cost of ownership. On the upside, the Fi 7260's durability is backed by Fujitsu's reputation for day-in and day-out reliability. The unit feels solid, and the rollers are made of materials that resist wear, which translates into a longer service life compared to cheaper alternatives that start skipping pages after a few months. The scanner's power consumption is also modest, which is a small but.